Happy Tuesday, Jeff.
Happy Tuesday.
What?
It's Thursday.
Yes, it is Thursday. I know.
Oh my God. It's
I got put off my spot with all this talk of bidets and fanny wiping and stuff. What you people don't realize that goes on before this even
Yes.
happens live. You think it's weird before when we start. It
Mhm.
is. But it's supernaturally weird before we even get this
Yeah,
thing.
the green room. When we're in the green room, it gets kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but
yeah.
it's, for those of you that enjoy sassy banter, that's the place to be.
That is.
Right?
It is. It's really cool.
We've got welcome, by the way, to Where the Dogs of Society Howl. Ow. And we've got great guests, as always. I don't think we've ever had a bad guest.
Never.
No, not that I can think of at all. And before we bring our guest in, we've got Robert Cogan. I almost said Robert Smith of The Cure, but he's not here, is he?
No, he's not here.
It'd be kind of cool if he was.
He would, but he'd get mad. He has a short fuse, I think. He'd get mad like 2 seconds in.
But do you see where I'm going here? Do you see how I might have thought that was the case?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But we've got a great guest coming on. We've got an appearance from Robert Cogan coming in to tell us what's up with what's going down at the border and elsewhere. And we're going to talk about sort of the discipline of no, the power of yes, and what it really means to, ask how, because those are a lot of the things that are near and dear to our guest. Yeah. Yes seems to get the glory, Jeff. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Everybody loves a yes.
Well, I've said yes to a lot of things in my life that have turned out pretty darn well. And there's a handful of foggy memories where I probably said yes and shouldn't have. But no seems to keep the walls. My Apple iPhone now is responding to me. I don't know how to make it work or not work. No, is the answer I have. But no keeps the walls from caving in, I think, sometimes.
Yes. No.
What?
Yes.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we've got a fabulous guest today, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. I've talked about him already. Let's get right into it. We've got all the way from Alias Advising. And he's part of a show on Saturday mornings at, I believe, 10:30 a.m. It's called Drink Up Podcast with Samuel Anderson.
That's right.
Samuel Anderson. But let's bring in Mr. Adam Smith, and please make some noise for Adam Smith.
Woohoo!
Ta-da. Ta-da. Happy Thursday.
Ta-da.
How are you, man? What's going on in your world?
Good. Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. Got back from Guatemala a week ago tomorrow. So not even back in the saddle a full 7 days, but getting there.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll ease you into this. How do you know that you're Geico's 11th million policy holder? How did you know that?
Because they called me.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it was a whole thing. You can Google it. I checked when I wrote that. So I was working once upon a time in Las Vegas, right? Little Hunter S. Thompson, similarity there.
Love it.
I was living in Vegas. My dad still lives there. I was out there for a few years after college. I was working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car just because they have a great corporate structure and they give you the tools to be your own boss. And what happened? There was an auto body shop that we worked with up the street, so that people would bring their cars there and we would rent, their like loaner car. And the auto body shop had a Geico rep that worked in the building, and I told him like, hey, I need new insurance. I'm out here in Vegas. I need to update my policy. Forget who I was with at the time, but it was from when I lived in Iowa as a kid. And so we just got to talking, and he was like, well, let me write a policy for you and we'll see how it looks. I'm like, okay. And I was single, and I'd had, still close enough to school that they could kind of tie in like good grades discount, and just layered all this stupid shit on. And so I got like a hell of a deal, and I didn't think twice about it. I signed up and paid and moved on with life. And then I was in the bay at the Enterprise cleaning a car one day, and my phone goes off, random number, and I'm that weird asshole that will answer in most random numbers. And so I pick it up, and this woman goes, Hi, Adam. This is Martha Furness. I'm the regional vice president for Geico Insurance. Do you have a minute? I go, bullshit. And she goes, excuse me? And I was like, who is this? Because I could see into the office at the Enterprise from the. I thought my coworkers were fucking with me, right?
Right.
And I was like, who is this? Because it's Martha Furness, regional vice president of Geico Insurance. I was like, is this fucking Joe? Knock it off, dude. Like I'm cleaning a car, and she's like, finally, she's like, I don't know how else to say this, but I'm Martha Furness, regional vice president. I was like, okay, Martha, what are you calling
Martha.
for? Right?
Or that's your name.
Right. And she goes, well, you're the 11 millionth policy holder. Okay, like I did just get. I was like, again, still, I'm like, okay, Martha, what do we do now? Like, what about that? And she's like, well, we'd like to fly you to Scottsdale for the day for a big celebration on our regional campus.
Oh my God.
It's the Gecko picked me up at the airport. Like, it's a whole thing. Yeah, like 3 black SUVs, except they weren't black. They were wrapped in Geico artwork. Like, I got in the middle one, presidential style. We rode. They red carpet met us with a mariachi band. Like,
people like talking into their wrists. The eagle has landed. We've acquired the target. Oh my God! How long had they been waiting to actually pull the trigger on that event? They must have been like stressed out for years.
I assume. I mean, they had to have been planning it, just knowing like, all right, we're coming up to it. But right, like I assume any region could have sold that policy, so there had to have been some sort of like emergency plan in place. Like, we think it's going to happen in New York, and then shit, it was Arizona. Fucking, I don't know. Yeah,
amazing.
That's crazy. And we've got Melissa here, and Ryan is here. A few others. I know we're going to be seeing a few of our other friends in a little bit. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's so funny that a company would like. I think it's great. I love when companies do like weird shit like that.
It was cool.
You know? Yeah. But like, you know, yeah, we're gonna come. That what they should have done is not said anything. They should have sent a wrapped van and like threw a bag over your head, threw you in the back with like Creeping Death from Metallica cranking, and then just driven you down to Arizona without any freaking word, water or food, and then released you. Yeah,
yeah.
They give him a cloth over his mouth and nose, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, and he's out like a light.
Okay, well, that might be for our 11 millionth show. Maybe we'll do that. Yes. We'll go get the guests that way. No, you know what? We'll just start getting our guests like that.
We just start abducting people. Yeah,
we're going to abduct people. I don't want to get into the politics.
But I promise everyone, we're not going to harvest any organs. I promise.
No.
Right.
So, let's get into some of the beverage whisperer, Alias advising. Tell us what it is, what you're doing, who you help, who you work with.
Yeah, sure. Well, hey, thank you guys for having me. Obviously, it's been a blast to get to know you over the last several months. Shout out to Mr. Sam Anderson for kind of being the impetus behind that. Alias Advising was born out of I got laid off. Right, was working with a startup and they ran out of money, and I was pretty immediately like, all right, well, I got to find some way to pay the bills. And as we all know, I think it's still the case. It's hard out there for a pimp in the job market right now. And
but so your pimp hand is strong.
Your right.
Is strong, I could tell you. I know.
And so that's why I wear the rings. And so, yeah, just, I've my name has always gotten me not into trouble, but just gotten comments of either like, oh, are you a big economics fan? Is that an alias? Is that made up? And so I was like, fuck it, we're going to call it Alias Advising. And really, my whole career in beverage, it's been about 8 years, and I've loved every minute of it. And the whole time has been working with what I'll call very lovingly, I mean this in a good way, the smallest of the small, right? So the woman who's like, hey, my grandmother had this recipe for this thing and I want to try and make something out of it. Or the guy who's like, 15 years ago, it was more of like, oh, I've been brewing beer and I want to start a brewery. Now it's more of like, hey, I want to make an energy drink. I want to make a seltzer. I want to do a canned cocktail. I want to do a THC this. But these people, good ideas, bad ideas, whatever ideas they have, like, it's just, it'd be like me trying to go be a pilot. Like, it's just not a world I know anything about. I don't even know where to start. I don't know how to get trained. I don't know who to trust for training. And I like talking to those people. I like educating people. And if they're truly interested in it and they can withstand my rambling, then all right, there might be something there. And that's what I do. So it's mostly operations, but it's a lot of this, a lot of conversations, introducing people to folks like you guys and Sam and Ryan and whoever can be helpful.
Okay. We're going to definitely drop a website link in the notes or in the comments for people to look you up, and make sure we will also drop the link at the end in the comments for the podcast on Saturday mornings. I wish I could be there more often. I just at 10 o'clock in the morning or so, 10:30 on a Saturday morning with the girls. It's like, who knows, I think several times I have come, I'm like, I just run into my office and shut the door, and they're like, "Where is Dad?" And I'm like, "Oh,
I heard he died.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of a perfect for Sam and I, because obviously his kids are grown. I don't have any, but truly, I don't know. I mean, Ryan's oftentimes on there. We've got a few people that are on there that have kids of doing stuff age, and I'm like, I don't know how you guys are able to join us, but I'm glad that you do.
Yeah. I think sometimes for me, it's just a matter of popping in, catching some of it, trying to participate, trying to hear what's going on. And then, realizing that duty calls, sometimes literally duty.
We were talking about earlier.
We were talking about that earlier.
Talking about our green room conversation.
That's right. That's right. For anybody that's wondering and just tuning in, this is what happens before the show and where the Dogs of Society Howl. We were talking about dude wipes, and I think my comment was like, what do you need dude wipes for? Just learn how to wipe your ass better. Like, get a soft. What is it? They call it a soft skill. I mean, it's literally depending on what you had the night before.
Oh no!
Oh boy, I think we just got on.
Heading south.
I love it.
So Adam, one of the quotes I was reading about you in your bio was helping people make beverages mostly operationally, but sometimes emotionally. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I put that in there because I think, and it ties into the line in my LinkedIn profile. But like, for example, a really easy one, kind of a low-hanging fruit, is like a lot of people come to me and go, "Hey, I have this idea for a beverage," and again, kind of the value of the idea up front sort of doesn't matter, good, bad, indifferent. One of my initial follow-ups, one of my first follow-ups to that is like, "Okay, I hear you. What's your goal with this?" And they go, "Well, I want to make a product." I'm like, "No, you're not hearing me. What's the end all be all? Like, is this a company you're going to grow for 40 years and give to your children? Are you trying to exit it and make a bunch of money and go live on a beach? Like, what's the goal?" Right? Which is a really personal question, especially for an early stage. I can't even call them a brand owner. It's just a person with an idea. And what I hear really often is, "Yeah, I want to grow it and exit in 3 to 5 years." And this is where the emotional part comes in, because the folks on this call, the folks listening in, know that 3 to 5 years is a fucking pipe dream in most cases, unless you've got a shitload of money and a really good plan. Oh, and by the way, an awesome idea, right? Average is somewhere between, what was it, Ghost? I think somebody just did it in like 8.5 or 9. But I want to say average is closer to like 12, 15, right? On the good end of average, right? And so having that conversation with folks of like, "Hey, if you want to pay me a little bit, you want to pay me a lot of it, you want to pay other people, like, we can absolutely do this, but I'm not here to take your money for something that we're not lined up on what we're chasing. So like, let's get trued up there first and make sure that you are emotionally ready to deal with the onslaught that is ahead of you if you decide to pursue this, and then we can do it together."
Very cool. Yeah, I think that's such an important factor in the whole thing. And then the other thought I was having earlier was so many of us end up running around when we're trying to come up with a product or trying to do this, trying to do that, start a business. It's like a founder chasing chaos cats. Do you ever find yourself in a position where you have to course correct them, and how do you do it?
Well, I mean, constantly, right?
Right.
Ryan, who's listening, you guys have been privy to some of these conversations, right? For as frustrating as it can be to sit in a position of experience and kind of be able to see the forest for the trees and see somebody making what you would consider to be Thank you for your question, Melissa. I will absolutely get to that next. But to be able to sit in a position of experience and see that maybe a brand owner is making a decision that, like, based on my experience, is going to lead them in a more troublesome path, right? Lead them down a more troublesome path.
Mhm.
My approach has always been like, I don't have a crystal ball. I've got a rearview mirror, right? So the road that you're looking to go down, I've seen people go down a similar looking road before, and this is how it's ended almost every time. But I'm going to give you as much background on that story as I can so that you can either go, oh, that does sound like exactly what I'm doing, I'm going to pivot, or no, it sounds different, or I hear you, but I don't care. In which case, dude, it's your brand, it's your money. Like, God bless. Right. By all means, do your thing. And I've had to go both ways, right? I've had brand owners be, you know, hey, you know what? Actually, I am going to pivot. Thank you for saying something. I've had brand owners go, you know, hey, I'm going to do it anyway. And it worked in the few instances. It's fewer and further between in that sense. But I've also had brand owners go and do it and be like, hey, so you know that thing you told me? Yeah, you want to help me fix it?
It happened.
You know, I was going to say, yeah, go ahead.
You know, well, here's the thing, right? It's like, for as frustrating as that is, because it's, as a person, regardless of work, right? You want to try and help people avoid mistakes that either you've made or you've seen made, right? But to be perfectly frank, like, people coming to me to help them fix their problems is kind of what I get paid for. It's what most of us get paid for. So, like,
solution.
If it wasn't for cats needing to be herded, I probably wouldn't pay my mortgage. So I'm okay with it, right?
Yeah, but that's a skill set, right?
Yeah. I was just gonna say we had talked months ago about this. Like, I think I had brought up the whole non-alcoholic category, and we were talking a little. I think we were talking a little bit about, you know, sometimes I think, you know, breweries might want to take a pivot. And they're like, oh, you know, I could do this, or I could do, you know, THC. But they're not realizing the implications of the operational changes that have to happen to make those, because now you're dealing with something that doesn't have alcohol in it. And so part of the pivot in their mind is positive, because they're recognizing where there may be some traction, a new market, a new way to have a new category, but they're not realizing, and you're kind of there to help them realize, well, it's a little bit more complicated than just changing the liquid that goes into the machine.
Yeah, I mean, I'll share a quick story, not related to any company I've ever worked with, but one that I love nonetheless, and then I'll answer Melissa's question, and that is Nintendo, right? As we all know it, that Nintendo used to run hotels, used to be a trading card company, had a taxi business for a while. Like, look up the history of Nintendo. It's fucking crazy, right?
That's wild.
The point is, right, they pivoted several times over centuries, like literally at this point, over centuries, right? You know, son took over from father, on and on and on, right? And they finally landed where they are now. And obviously they're a massively successful company. But I call that out because I think, to your point, right, a lot of, you know, and we'll pick on breweries in the THC combo, they look at it as like, hey, I'm going to pivot and make a quick buck. As long as you frame that plan as that's all it is, and I'm going to, you know, it's kind of like placing a bet. Like, I'm going to put $200 on red, I'm going to get in and get out. Fine. The problem that I've seen, right, and I'll call out the brewery here on my shirt. So Padraig's here in Minneapolis. They've stayed really true to beer because their owner's trying to play the long game. And I think what the problem you run into is, you decide to make a pivot like that, but it's just a cash grab, or it's just a way to try to save a struggling business. People aren't putting the thought into it and kind of looking out for all of the hurdles that they should. And so, to your point, like, well, the alcohol's gone, what's your stability? Like, it just opens up all these other doors. And I'm not saying that pivoting might not be the best thing for your business, but take it seriously. Right?
You know what the death rattle of a brewery that's thinking about making a change is like? I think we're going to get into sours. And it's like, dude, you mean like 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
No,
well,
it's funny you mention it, because there's been, it's happening around the country, but there's been 5 breweries in the Twin Cities that have closed in the last 12 months. One of them specifically was almost a sours exclusive brewery that did super well and made really good sours for a long time. And then demand just fucking dried up.
Dried up.
Right, it's gone.
They were a hot thing. Hey, Melissa's been waiting so patiently.
Yeah,
Thanks, Melissa.
She wants to know what a goal of yours is through year's end, as well as moving into 2026 and beyond.
And beyond.
Yeah, this is going to sound really vague, but it's the best answer I can come up with at the moment. And it is accurate. And that is networking, but more specifically, figuring out specifically, who, whether it's people or businesses who are kind of in the corners that need to be brought more into the forefront of the conversation. So I'll give you an example, right? I've told people for a long time, I'm good at what I do. I'm better at knowing who to call. I'm perfectly okay with that. I've also said for the last few years, gone are the days of 10, 15 years ago, 20 years, whatever, where somebody would willingly pay several thousands of dollars for an introduction, whether that was to a production facility or to a distributor, whoever it might be. Hey, Michael. And so for me, it's one of those things where, like, formulators right now, there's a lot of layoffs happening in every industry, but there's a good amount of really experienced, process-driven, educated, all the good words, right? Individual formulators out in the world, right? Couple that come to mind are some good friends, Ryan Bachman, Michael Colangelo. There's more I'm forgetting right now, but who, when you don't have the power of a 300-person company and a full testing lab behind you, it's really easy to get lost in the shuffle, right? But they're still out there doing good work. And in most cases, they're doing more unique and specific work than some of these other larger groups might be doing. And that doesn't mean that you got to play favorites and pick one against the other, but it's just, the point I'm getting at is nothing pains me more than seeing somebody get let go from a company that they spent 5, 10, 15 years at, got a really good education experience. They're a fucking assassin in the industry. They're great at what they do. And then nobody knows how to reach them. And so they have to go leave the industry to find work. All that institutional knowledge just walked out the door for all of us. That frustrates the living shit. Right? So my goal, very, very high level, my goal for this year into next is to find a way to do that a little more structured, right? Stuff like this is part of that. Building out my website more is part of that. Getting more active on social media is part of that, right? But that's, I would say, my biggest goal.
Nice. Jeff, do you have an answer for that question that I'm unaware of?
Ditto. No, it's right. As far as a goal, at least I can identify with what Adam's saying. And I always try to do that. I actually have a Monday board going where when we have these meetings with different resources that I just keep it in the back of my head. Like somebody's asked me the other day on, actually it was a comment, and it was like, I'm looking for a trademark attorney. It doesn't come up much, but I immediately knew who I was going to recommend, and I put it in there. And that's all it takes. It's not like you're expecting anything back for that. It's just that you're a connector of people, right? And resources, because there's so many good people out there that you trust enough that you could send somebody to them and they're going to get get good service.
Well, it's the going back to the good at what I do, better knowing who to call. It's and Ryan Halloran and I have had this conversation of like, the default. I think I'm only a year into this, right? Hey, Cogs. I'm only a year into this, but the default, I think, for anybody is like, oh, well, if you come to meeting X and I tell you who I get X from and you just go straight to them, why would you involve me in the future? Right. Which is a fair thought. Like, it's a fair default assumption. What I think people miss, though, is, and again, it's worked well for me for 8 years, hasn't stopped working yet, is you get known for being the guy to call, right? You get known for being the person like, hey, Adam might not have an answer, Peter or Jeff might not have an answer, but they'll give me a couple names of some people that do. And so you remain a part of the conversation, right?
That's
and eventually that either leads to business, or it leads to you meeting somebody new, or it leads to just at the end of the day being able to feel like you were fucking helpful, which is the warm fuzzy we're all looking for in one way or another, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the always be helping motif. And in case anybody was wondering about my goals and aspirations for 2026,
nobody asked, Peter.
I'm just going to tell you, and you guys, I don't know why you're so serious all the time. All I want for 2026 is super sick lats.
No, I don't believe that for a minute.
I want lats, sick lats. I want lats so sick I could fly. That's my goal. Shit about anything else.
I don't believe a word.
All right. On that note, we are going to step to our next our next segment of the program.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And today's show again is brought to you in part by Chilk, drinkchilk.com. It is the room temperature, always good mix of poultry and dairy product in a non-refrigerated, ready-to-drink bottle. So we'll talk more about them after.
It's not shelf stable.
It is absolutely in no way, shape, or form shelf stable, but it does promote soft bones, and I think it does the opposite of mental acuity. But we can get into that later. I'm not like a legitimate scientist, so I can't speak to that. Anyways, coming up right now is something special.
Robert Cogan.
Robert Cogan.
Cogan has succeeded.
Cogan has just returned.
Welcome to Making Things Happen with Robert Cogan.
Hey, Robert and Richard.
Hey.
Special guest, Richard.
Oh my God, this is like car karaoke.
It is. It's actually, I'd call it Bagel World karaoke, because Rich and I have had our schedule every 2-3 months. We get together because I got to get centered a little bit. You see, Richard, I don't know how he was raised, but he's normal and smart.
That's good. I'm glad you hang out with him.
I'm going to do that segue. I'm going to segue in just by what you guys were talking about, or what Adam was talking about. It's hard to find people that are normal, that return calls, that text, I'll be busy for the day, call you tomorrow, or something like that. And and then as I said to Richard, the epitome, the opposite of the bullshit you were referring to is Adam and Sam. Sam's tagline on LinkedIn: give me a call. I love it. It's the opposite of what we were talking about last week, if you remember.
That's right. So Robert, let me ask you this question: how do you know when to say no instead of a yes when a new brand approaches you for getting help, let's say to get their drink into Canada?
Absolutely no clue. I suffer from brandaholism, entrepreneuritis. I'm in deep treatment for those two conditions. And I think by taking some chill, de-stress melting forest over the last couple of years, I think it's worked. And brutal truth, I'm getting rounded into the headspace to say no to a few brands that, and I'm going to bring in, I think, did you tell me what Adam's answer was? The Howl? I heard something earlier about.
Yeah, the Howl. That's
yeah. And that's when somebody says they want to do something and you ask how, and then you say no, because they're the most common answer to how somebody is going to penetrate one of the several markets with a CPG food and beverage product. 19 out of 20 times, it's clueless. I watched some Dragon's Den and Shark Tank, and I heard from a friend about this and that. I'm the guy that says, do you have $1 million that you can afford to lose? And can you wait 3 years for national distribution?
Right.
So I just don't know how to say no for these last 10, 12 years, but I'm learning quickly. And with the help of Adam, Sam, you guys, a little bit of Wade and Gavin and Richard and a few other characters that I call, the all-star team of players that we run into on all these business networks.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, that's I mean, that I think that's really it. Like, it's not really a set no, so to speak, in that, maybe there's more to find out before you get there. That's all.
Yeah, I posted on Adam's podcast last week, Adam and Sam, about the same topic. And my favorite question is, do you have $1 million to burn? Oh, first I asked when you escaped from the mental hospital for Brandon.
Oh yeah,
Hall.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I like to, I got this other problem where I want to get every thought compressed into 5 minutes. But I love the how. My answer to your question, Jeff, is I'm still in progress of figuring out how to say no.
Okay.
And it's a skill. You got to be sort of polite about it. And I don't really have that skill when it comes to playing ball and trying to get a ground ball over to first. There's no politeness involved. You get the ball there. You know what I
It's
mean?
a journey, Robert. You're on a journey.
Detox is a process, right?
It's a process.
Detox is a process.
Oh, I love that. That's excellent. Thank you.
You guys still hear me?
I was just going to say, Robert, you're being extremely disruptive.
That's it happens instinctively. But I'm going to disrupt right now and say that the guy who's got more experience in dealing with brands, with the eye tracking, and what really is the science that drives this, is the man sitting to my right.
That's true.
On your left. You all know who Richard is, and and getting more intelligence from Richard about the importance of packaging.
I think Richard's being obsequious at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have the luxury, I guess, of saying no to brands about designs because I can use data to say no. So
Yeah,
I can say, no, you don't want that on your package because everyone's missing this other important thing. Or, eye tracking makes it easier for designers to say no to brands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and that makes so much sense. I love that. Now that leads us back to Adam. What about when somebody uses the eye tracking and we're going to say no, but there's got to be a how coming up, isn't there? A how?
Yeah, no, I think I think Robert and Rich will agree with me here, and Peter and Jeff, you guys will too. Like, even on the artwork side, and I won't pretend to be an expert there at all. I'm barely an amateur, but what I experience, right, a lot of times with brands is, well, I want my product to have this. Okay, whatever this is, whatever color or logo or whatever. Why? Right? Well, I want it to convey this emotion, or I want it to convey this thing. Okay, we can do that, just not the way you were describing, right? So that's where the how and the clarity and all that comes in is most of my day, most of what people pay me for is not in telling them, hey, you can't do this, period. It's, I hear what you're saying you want to do. The way you're planning to go about it, from my perspective, it's like sometimes, people tell me, you made the joke about choke, but people tell me like, hey, I want to do this, this, and this, and this. I was like, well, science says no. Right?
Sometimes common sense says no.
Right.
Also that, right? Physics, federal laws, whatever it is. But there is a how to do it another way. You just have to be okay with that way. So the answer is yes, but over here, right?
Yeah.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And just to clarify, there is no joking about chilk.
Right.
When it comes to the power of poultry and unpasteurized dairy mixed together, that's no.
In a blender. We blend
Starbucks
it.
is offering protein foam at this point, so fuck it. I say let's go bullish on chilk.
Yeah.
I'm saying we're all going all in on chilk. And Robert and Rich, you guys may or may not know this, but in the course of my chilk adventure exploration, I discovered that there is actually a chilk.com. There's a chilk product up in Canada.
Yes.
That is like legitimately trying to like put it out there that
I'm surprised chilk wasn't originated in Canada. That sounds Canada.
It's not.
I was like, what? I found it and I was like, wait a minute, what?
I know.
Like,
we're not really supposed to talk about it because we're sending a letter to them, cease and desist. So.
Oh, I like to send those letters.
There can be only one.
There can be only one. I'm waiting for them to offer to buy us out. Right. And if you're listening from that, semi-iconic brand, on the Canadian side, not the American side. You know, we can settle something for what, about
Yes.
$5 at the.
We could collab even.
I'd say I'll take $10. You know,
$10.
$10.
Yeah, I don't know if any other Canadians are listening here, but if they are, they're thinking the same thing. The reason why we laugh harder at this is we have an institution up here called Swiss Chalet.
Mhm.
It's just rotisserie chicken, but they've got this stuff called chalet sauce. In
Yeah.
Quebec, there's another chain called Saint Hubert. Okay. So I was traumatized as a young boy watching certain characters take that chalet sauce
Oh,
Oh
and
my
drinking it
goodness.
down. Okay. It's a bit excessive for me. It's like that weirdo that drinks the Alfredo sauce that some people
Oh.
have a story about back in high school or university. So when you start talking chilk, the poultry, what is it? Poultry and
milk.
And milk.
milk,
Yeah.
Yeah.
non-refrigerated.
Non-refrigerated.
Yes.
Yes.
It's highly
It's-
expirable.
packed with chunky, authentic flavor.
Right.
And we recommend that it's served just above room temperature. And
It
it's
is.
for everyone, unlike Jesus or other overhyped healthy trends like eating in here. Fact is, kids love chilk and it's slightly funky aroma. Now back to the show.
Back to the show. I mean, just talking. You know what? When Adam was talking about the no, like for me, if someone was asking me like the no, like I saw recently, someone did a logo and it was in a complete circle, but there was no end or beginning to it, so you didn't know where to start with the letters, and they were all caps. And I'm thinking to myself, that's a firm no for me. If someone said to me, "What do you think of this idea?" I would say no. And there's no how or why. It's just no.
Mm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Larry Livingston happens to just publicly have admitted that he's eye tracking all of us at this very
He
moment.
is. He is. I think he's wiretapping us too.
I don't know what to say. Yeah, no, I love it. Anything else to add for us today, Robert, or are you Rich? Charlie Day, if I may just say Charlie Day.
Go Jays.
Go Jays, go! Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
how can we not talk about the Jays?
Rich
I know.
Moniz is the wild card.
What a
He's the
great
one.
game.
What did you say? Wild card? What's
He's the
that mean?
wild card.
Well,
Charlie
What a
Day.
wild card.
Charlie Day is the wild card.
Oh, Charlie
Charlie,
Day's
yeah.
the wild card. You see, but we don't know what wild card means because we won the division we had to buy.
I know.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So
There you
just
go.
so we're clear, the Jays sat back, chilled out, scored a few touchdowns on the weekend.
There you go.
Had to give Aaron Judge his little foul pole moment on Tuesday.
Mhm.
And we suffered through a bit of stress last night and ended up spilling champagne everywhere.
Victorious.
So
That's
So-
awesome.
it's the Blue Jay Festival, especially sitting back waiting for Sunday who we're going to play.
Nice.
And you know, all the Canadians out there are going to be appreciating that. And I know there's a few Jays fans south of the border.
Mhm.
And all I could add for the Robert segment, which this week is a Richard Robert segment, is say yes to having a discussion all the time, but to say no, very important. And so I'm not going to ramble on for another 4 minutes because this is a goodbye little segue. I'm going to be showing up on Saturday morning with Adam and Sam, and then we're probably going to be covering some of the same topics and trying to throw some sense into everything. And again, about 10 to 15% of the intelligence I share comes from this guy over here, as I learn more and more about packaging and the brutal truth about the science of marketing, converting to sales.
Nice.
Awesome. Throw him some curveballs, Robert.
Now, before one of these two hot boxes, the other one in the car, we'll let him go. All right.
Thanks, guy.
See you guys later, man.
Awesome.
Awesome. Hey, so we're back, Adam.
We are. We're back.
Yeah, I was going to say some of these yes and no things. Like I've told people a million times, I won't get into it. Just slightly that the fact that I said yes to somebody asking me, "Are you my 2 o'clock?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I ended up with a job in broadcast radio for 5 years, which led me to Disney and that sort of a thing. You know, that was a yes that worked for me, right? How about you? Do you have a yes moment in your life that you said yes to something and it changed everything? I think you said yes to that wall color in your apartment. What did that? He's
I did.
thinking, he's sussing it out.
God.
God.
I mean, there's been a few, right? Like well, so you guys will appreciate this, and I feel like some of the folks listening will know who I'm referencing. You guys know Mitch Hedberg, right? Mitch.
Yes.
He had a joke back in his heyday. It was he had two. That one of them was, "I'm sick of following my dreams. I'm just going to ask where they're going and hook up with them later." And the other one was this lady in an interview asked me where I see myself in 5 years, and I said, celebrating the 5th year anniversary of you asking me this question, right? And I like, I've always said that at any point in my life, if you were to go back in a time machine and go like, hey, you know, truly, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I had given an answer, like I thought about it and I given an answer, I'd have been wrong, right? Like and so I think some of the moments that define stuff was like, you know, when I left college, Dad, you know, still does, but was living in Vegas at the time, and was like, hey, you know, don't know what your job prospects look like, but if you want to move out here, and I was like, yeah, like I have no reason not to. I'd love to hang out.
Yep.
With you, you know, we didn't grow up around each other. I learned a lot. I saw a lot. I got to meet a lot of really cool people, and then, you know, kind of the same thing on the tail of that, like when Vegas was kind of reaching its time, because it's Neverland, and if you don't want to grow up, you don't have to. And I was kind of ready to grow up a little bit. I got a buddy that was like, well, hey, you know, if you come to Minnesota, you can crash the couch while you figure it out. Yeah. Okay.
That's
and
awesome.
Literally the job I got was because I'm a guy at a bowling alley. And we were bowling, next wife and kid. It was like, we, you know, got to ask another man. But actually, yes. And he's like, well, I'm the general manager of a Best Buy and we're hiring. So, you know, you should check it out online and come talk to us. And then I spent 3 years there. So, I mean, just there's that over and over again. And so, yeah, I mean, it's what, you know, Coke said, like, for the most part, I don't get into too much crazy shit, but I'm always willing to have a conversation about it because every now and again it's panned out pretty well. So,
yeah, you never know where it's going to go, right?
Yeah. And those conversations.
I know a little bit of your story, but what about you guys? Like, there has to be. I know a little bit of your story, but I want to know what the answer is.
Jeff?
When was a pivotal yes moment?
Yeah, there was actually a lot of them when I was in the corporate space where I wanted to do something. I was a musician and I wanted to do something in recording music, and I wasn't seeing it really pan out. I went to college for 2 years thinking, oh, I'm going to do business. I learned some stuff, but I wasn't into it because I was still into music. And I was like, you know, I'm just going to get a job, something to do with music. I ended up at Boston Acoustics, which is a loudspeaker company. And I was like, this is good enough for me now because I'm around speakers and music. And it was that kind of vibe. And a lot of musicians work there, as you can imagine, amongst MIT physics majors and stuff. but 13 job positions later, I found myself as a director of global brand marketing for the company. So, like, here's the thing. It's like all those little steps, like you had just described, had to happen. There was like, Jeff, do you want to take this on? And I'm like, sure. And I had all these opportunities and I didn't say no to them. I just took them. And that kind of led me to where I learned so much from mentorship and changing job positions and understanding all the different pieces to a manufacturing business. And it made me so more comfortable when I left that business to do my own thing, because I already had all that background from finance and the production line and COGS and all this other stuff that I had learned over the years dealing with all of these different departments.
Larry has commented here, yes is the destination, no is how you get there. Any thoughts on that? Yeah. I'll tell you, my Mine is not a yes. Mine was a hard no.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure a yes would have changed a lot of things in a very, very weird way. And this is a true story. When I was a youngster playing in a rock and roll band and living in LA, we had a little apartment on right on Hollywood Boulevard, right down the end, just past the Man's Theater. About 9 of us living in a 1-bedroom studio, or like studio apartment, basically, with a closet and a bathroom. And we used to, we were out there all the time, wandering around, doing our little rock and roll thing, trying to make it. And one day, while we were out there waiting for a bus or something, because that's how rock and roll it was, big limousine pulls up across the street. And not unheard of in LA, right, in Hollywood. And the window rolls down, and a little hand with a hanky pops out from the back, and it's like, yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo. And we were looking around like, with all our hair and like leather on. And we looked around like, oh, us? And he was like, come over, come here. Like idiots. We went over across the street. And if you've ever been in LA, the streets are like 7.5 blocks wide.
Mm-hmm.
So, 20 minutes later, we get across the street. We get to the limo, and whose head pops out and asks us if we want to go for a ride? Little Richard. Yeah. How did you know?
I think
Was
I
he in
heard this
Vegas
story, but
too,
it's also a very Little Richard thing to do.
Yeah. And we were like, no,
Yeah.
No.
Mr. Little Richard. But that was my no moment, where yo would have been just definitively
Yes, very different.
forever.
Yeah.
We got a couple more things to get to before we go. And I think one of the things I want to ask before we go too far is, Jeff, we're going to need a banging trivia question today. None of this Back to the Future mayhem. We need like a banging trivia question. Can you come up with that in the next few minutes?
Oh, yeah. I'll work on that now.
I mean, get it ready to go. Because what I'm going to offer today as the prize is going to be one of those intros that we've been doing for Robert and that we do for the show. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you an introduction. I'm going to make you an introduction. You really have no say in how it comes out, but I will ask you a few questions so we don't get too far. And then you can use it in any which way form.
Can I ask a question, though?
Is it the trivia question?
Yeah. Does this question need to be easy to answer or no? It doesn't matter.
No, Jeff.
No, when you say a banger,
no,
hard
it has
to
to be
answer.
difficult to answer.
Okay.
Yes, difficult.
All right.
Not one of those like, how long is the 1 hour boat tour?
Right. That one, right.
So
I think I have
while
one.
he's coming up with that, Adam, what are some of the things that kind of framed you in where you are now? How did you sort of land in the position you're in? Because you've got an entrepreneurial spirit. Were there some certain aspects of childhood, growing up, or mentorship that helped craft who you are now?
Oh, what a kind and wonderful question. Yeah, I mean, I think I'll explain this in a little bit more detail, but I'll start with a line I've started using over the last couple months when people have asked me kind of why I'm in this industry. And the short answer is it's a party I never thought I'd get an invite to, so I'm not fucking leaving early. This was a world that I knew nothing about for a long time, as far as like being in commercial beverage or just the creative CPG space, whatever you want to call it. But growing up, I had, grew up in a small town, which is not good, bad, or otherwise. It just was. So that's why, I didn't know this was a career path option. But I had a lot of health issues as a kid. Until the age of about 12, I had a lot of autoimmune problems, and it just kind of became. I got to watch my mom for a long time, just beat on door after door after door trying to find doctors who could help. And so there was that level of as a real young kid, seeing that level of persistence, which to be frank, as a kid, sometimes it was annoying. It'd be like, come on, let it go. I'm yes, I'm sick, but Jesus, calm down. And she was a fucking honey badger, man. She just wouldn't let it go. And obviously it worked out. I'm better. Things are good. but there was just always that sense of, again, it goes back to the answer's not no, the answer's how. Like there's always another solution to be found, right? And that's, I mean, yeah, there's tons of examples of it, but even getting laid off, right? Like it was a joke. Like it was a 20-minute conversation between my wife and I when I found out I was getting laid off. We sat down. I was picking her up from work. We sat down and had a beer, and I was like, "Well, so I got laid off." She's like, "What are you gonna do?" And I was like, "Well, I think I'm gonna try and consult." And like, we're married. We have bills. There probably should have been a longer form conversation about like, all right, let's run the numbers and let's see what that looks like. And I'm that person in our relationship. It's very much not my wife. And so when I brought up like, I think I'm just gonna consult, she's like, "Yeah, go for it." That was it. That was all the conversation we had. Right. Yeah. And that was 14 months ago. It's been working out ever since. So cool, I mean, I think it's just been a lot of that, like seeing the way my mom handled shit growing up, and then it keeps working, right? Like if it stops working, I will adjust my plan accordingly, but it keeps working out.
Right on. So, yeah. Awesome, man. And what are your feelings on founders' faces on packages?
Can I say it depends on the face?
Right.
I don't think it ever depends on the face.
It doesn't. No, and don't get me wrong, I know some people who have been very kind to me and have had good conversations with, for sure. So nothing against them personally, but founders' faces on packaging to me feels like real estate billboards when I'm driving on the highway.
Oh yeah. Or the car or the lawyer billboards.
Car dealerships. Yeah. Like they show their dogs with them and stuff. Yeah.
There's a couple of guys that have a furniture store in the Northeast, and their vans drive around with these two, unsightly elderly men in full size on the truck. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing here?
That Cardis.
Yeah.
So my wife used to work for Wells Fargo, right? And every time I see stuff like that, it reminds me, because I asked her when we started dating, I was like, hey, like, well, whether it's like bank loans or insurance or whatever, like every time I see a Wells Fargo ad or Park Bench or whatever, it's always got somebody's fucking face on it. Like, why? And she goes, honestly, there are so many rules around what you can and cannot do in the banking and real estate space. That's one of the few things that you're allowed to do to like punch up the ad and make it catch people's attention. And so it's what everybody defaults to, right? Like you're so framed in with being, you can't really be creative. And so like when I see, I mean, same thing. We've got plumbers here who have their face on the side of the van, or we've got real estate. I'm like, there's almost no rules depending on your business of how you can promote it. And you took like the default lazy ass option. Of
right.
Yeah.
My favorite ones, I've seen a few recently, and they're like tomato sauces that I'm sure the sauce is delicious, but like the picture of like either the young founder or the nana that created the recipe. They look like the photos you see at like a wake. I'm like, why the fuck would you put this?
They just slapped it on there.
Why is there a morgue photo on a jar of food that you want me to buy?
You know who I blame for this is Orville Redenbacher. That's who I blame.
Absolutely, that's an astute observation.
Oh my! Well, hey, everybody's been waiting with bated breath, I'm sure. So have a minute. Jeff, we got a question here that Rod can't answer right away.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So actually, I have a couple of them, but
well, let's just pick one.
All right, because everybody's gonna do a search anyway.
It doesn't matter who searches the fastest.
All right. Here's the question: do you want a question that's related to a retail company or a beverage?
Are you asking me a question before?
No, I'm asking Adam.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm going to try and play to my strengths and say beverage.
Okay. Perfect. All right. What was the original name of Pepsi when it was created in 1893?
Chilk.
It was not Chilk.
So
all right, we're waiting for. Wait, no, this is not for you to answer, Adam.
Oh, I know, but I have a story.
Okay. So you're thinking. Okay.
For those of you who are listening, if you don't already watch it, if you nerd out and listen to jackasses like us talk for an hour. There's a show, right? There's a show on the History Channel. You can also find it on Hulu called The Food That Built America.
Oh, I love that show.
And it's CPG porn for nerds like us. It's so good. It's so fun. And there's little nuggets of shit like this where it's like how it got started, what the original name was. It's where I found out that 7-Up originally had not cocaine, but
yes,
something in it. I put a LinkedIn post up the other day, but it was like not heroin, but it was essentially like something that today we'd be like, that's a Schedule 1 drug, and it was in 7-Up.
Exactly. Yeah. Like we were talking. I was talking when we had the trivia question about RC Cola. Actually, Richard just won it. It's called Brad's Drink.
Brad's Drink.
Wow.
Really?
But our RC Cola, the original formula was using Coke syrup because they were buying it as a supply from Coca-Cola.
Well, congratulations to Richard Moniz on winning. But also, Monique, you were really in here and you inspired me to offer this. So I'm gonna pony up and make one for you too, Monique. How's that sound?
Yeah, I think that's
awesome.
You got it there. The Brad's.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what we're going to do. Hey, we've got a couple of minutes before we go. Jeff, did you want to share anything from your disturbing LinkedIn stuff or messages? Do you have anything worth sharing today?
Well, I did a post, I think it was yesterday about.
Well, don't share it yet. But what'd you do? You did something. Hold on. Wait a minute, Jeff. Jeff, you're on.
Oh yes. So I'm going to share some stuff that came in the inbox.
Yeah.
All right. So this one is saw the great reviews from brands like Burberry and Jimmy Choo about your customer service. Peter, do you recall if we've ever worked with them? I don't think.
Jeff, I didn't want to get into this here. I've been working with those brands on the side.
Really I didn't realize that.
Heavy. Yeah. No, I've never even heard of those.
All right.
It's nice of them to give us good reviews.
It is. It was really nice of them, but I wonder what you did for them anyway.
I don't know.
Anyways, hello, Jeff. Want free cold email domains? Well, that's a different spin.
Yeah.
So I hadn't thought of it until that moment that I read this, actually, that's a thing. Did you know that was a thing, Adam?
I did not. I love that. I didn't realize you guys. It's been a while since I've watched the show, and I'm not usually here till the bitter end. This is fucking great.
Thanks. And then I'm not giving up on you, Jeff, but because Google will break up with me if I send another reply less email, and I can't afford couples therapy with an algorithm. I actually give this guy some credit.
Yeah, that's
a good icebreaker, I think. So I might respond to him. So that's all I had this week.
Wild. So Adam, before we let you go, tell us again, where can people find you? If you're not connected to Adam, fix that shit. Connect with Adam. Where can people find you and find out more? What kind of people should be reaching out to you?
Yeah. No, thank you. If you can find me on LinkedIn by just looking for Adam Smith, God bless you. Well done. But more easily, you can find me at aliasadvising.com. Common spelling. My phone number is on there. Folks that should be reaching out to me. I mean, honestly, if you just want an education, anybody from there onward, right? Like if you just want to talk about the industry, even if it's, I mean, I've got folks who I work with who are like, what can you tell me about marketing? I'm like, very little, but then I will make some introductions to people who can tell you more. So everybody from there all the way up to, the flip side of the spectrum, which is like, hey, I have a brand. I've been working on it for a few years and it's just getting too much for me to handle operationally. And I need kind of somebody that I can plug in to just take the reins on pretty short order. Everything in between those two is perfectly fine.
Baller, as they say, baller. I love it. Adam, thanks so much for taking time with us today. I know you're not going to get these 50 minutes back, but
No, this was super fun, guys. It's good to see you.
Yeah. You signed the waiver form, okay?
Yes, he
There
did.
was the waiver. I
Yeah,
signed the choke
wow.
waiver. Was there a podcast waiver?
You
Yeah,
definitely
there
need
was
to
also a
sign that
podcast
one.
waiver.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love it. Thank you so much, dude. And cheers.
Yes,
You know,
thank
you
you.
guys are on, what is it, Saturday mornings at 10:30?
10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central.
Okay.
Yep.
You know, I'm math intolerant, so thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome.
Did you say meth intolerant or
Math intolerant.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Math
Two things
intolerant.
can be true, Jeff.
I have all
Two-
my teeth. I'm fine. Thank you. Yeah, man. Awesome. And thanks to everybody for sitting in today. We got Monique. I'm going to reach out to you on the sidebar and figure out how to create something you could
And
possibly.
Allison
do
was
for-
here.
And Richard. We got you covered. I'll be talking to you at some point. Allison Clay's in the house, of course. So thanks everybody for coming on down to Where the Dogs of Society Howl. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Please, wipe your feet as you go back out into the world and
Right.
have a great rest of the day and enjoy the long weekend. Right? Am I right?
People keep saying that. I'm like, I'm not going to have Columbus Day off, but God bless everybody else.
Right.
Good
I'm
for you.
taking all the days off, bro. I'm leaving tomorrow after our 11:30 call. And is it Lynn or Karen? Karen, I swear to God, if you cancel on this meeting, if you're listening, if you cancel this meeting and you held me and my kids up from going to Maine, there's going to be hell to pay. Hell to pay. And then, I hope everyone has a great, safe weekend. And we're just going to drift off here and we'll catch you on the other side.
I love
Nice.
you guys. That was super
We're
fun.
still here.
We're
He's still here.
We're still here. Surprise!
Surprise.
It's funny.